the Abnormal, Strange, and Weird podcast, a show dedicated to all such things and everything in between. Now sit back and relax and join us as we talk about weird shit. Good morning and goodwill to all. How's it going today? My name is Patrick Dyer. This is Amanda Geezy. Welcome to the Abnormal, Strange, and Weird podcast. This is episode 7. How was your day today?
It's good.
Yeah?
Super domestic.
Yeah, you said you was working on your garden and you're hooking it up.
Stuff.
What kind of stuff are you going to plant?
Corn and squash and tomatoes and cucumbers. All the necessities for a good meal.
Yeah. Well, I never
Not
liked
all
squash.
Of them, but
I hate squash. It's for the birds. I would
they
actually...
don't even eat it.
I'll eat it. I like it burnt up, though, like with onions.
Yeah,
What kind of squash?
Some butter.
Oh, yeah.
Mmm.
Butter squash? Butternut squash?
No, I don't know about that stuff.
No?
Not a big fan.
No.
Like
oh, you mean actual butter.
Like cook it in the butter.
Well, funny you bring that up because we were going to talk about Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correlates.
Yeah, so I think that's perfect. Actually, a lot of people, the nickname is called Squash.
Squatch.
Squatch. Yeah, that's what I said. Everybody knows that's what I said.
Everybody heard it.
Wouldn't you be pissed if you had your whole garden set up? It was like your best garden. And then you have all your tomatoes, your squash, your cucumbers and everything. And then one of them bastards came and ate it all. One fail swoop.
They almost did. The squirrels they decimated my corn in a day. In like an hour, I went out there and it was just like all of this glorious corn was just what?
That's fucked up.
It was fucked up.
There's not much you can do about fucking squirrels either. Unless you build a fortress, they'll figure out how to get it.
Yeah, they'll leap.
Oh, definitely.
Leap and fly in. Jerks.
Well, this is I'm not the most versed in the Bigfoot thing, but I've always been one of my favorite kind of cryptids of the United States and I guess around the world.
So when you suggested we talk about this today, I was like, ugh.
You like it, huh?
Well, now, because I don't know what it was, but my whole concept is just old and dated, and like I had no other exposure to it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So seeing what's been discovered and documented thus far, and like the different people, like once they experience this phenomenon, like they're locked in and they study it. And
yeah.
My goodness.
Well, yeah, and like, what is that one, the film, the most famous American one, was it the Patterson-Gimlin film? I think it was in the 60s. It just looked hokey, and that's the most famous one. I mean, and then if that's your like only exposure to it, it's kind of like, eh.
Dude, my only exposure was Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh, yeah, that's a good movie. That's a sad movie. When Harry, oh boy, when he was missing from the family, I got a tear in my eye.
That's it. That's like the tops of my exposure was hearing that people were nuts talking about it.
Well, then when you really look into it,
they're interdimensional beings, I was like, oh,
yeah.
What do you mean?
That's one of my favorite. Actually, I didn't really hear that one for quite a while. One, I mean, anybody who's ever looked or hasn't looked into it much, I mean, almost every continent has some story of this. Going back thousands of years, Mm-hmm. And so that's what I'm kind of on the fence. I can't decide, I mean, there wouldn't be that many witnesses to something without something being there. You know what I mean?
I'm fucking sold.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's just some sort of ape. I mean, the world's huge. There's a lot of shit we don't know about. You know what I mean?
No way. The universe is huge.
Yeah, you're going,
Somebody was talking about there being like a parallel universe. There's so many. There's infinite parallel universes. Like they say with manifestation, if you can like lock in on and vibrate like as a rich kid or something, like you will draw that experience in, and that's you're aligning with different timelines.
No, definitely.
I feel like the people who've seen these things and go out looking for them, just their intent calls them in. That's just my opinion, though, I think.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. You kind of have to be open to it. We sort of talked about that last week with the Native Americans not being able to see until they were open to, that theory about the ships would be like 100 yards away and they couldn't even see it because their mind couldn't even, they're like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they were there, they're like, oh, well, I guess we better figure this out. But yeah, so I mean, the main theories with the Bigfoot, is it could be a species that was supposed to be extinct and it didn't actually die, like the Gigantopithecus. They say that was like have you ever seen pictures of like the bones of this thing?
Mm-mm.
It was an ape that roamed North America. And it was supposed to be like 10 foot tall, like 700 pounds. And it only died off supposedly within the last 100,000 years. And so some people theorize that some form of that could be out in the wilderness somewhere. And then the other one is it's its own species. And then the third one that I brought up with you is the interdimensional being, which is my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
And where I learned about that was when I keep bringing up that one alien con I went to.
Mm-hmm.
I went to this small, I was drinking all day and there was only a few little things left. So I went in this little room and this guy, that's all he talked about is how it was an interdimensional being that would come in and out of this
Trees?
dimension or whatever else dimension.
Like using trees as entry points.
Yeah, trees and like stone points and, caves or whatever, which I thought was really cool. Because I never thought of it that way. And the guy who made it really popular, and I think it was, many decades ago, his name was John Eric Backyard. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And his theory was the interdimensional thing, but the way he saw it was you can come into this dimension, but you can't decipher how long you're going to be there. Which was also an interesting theory. And so you would kind of fade in and out. He compared it to the Cheshire Cat from what is that stupid?
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland, yeah. So you can, so that might pop in front of you and then all of a sudden it like fades out and it's gone.
Leaves just a smile.
Yeah, just a smile.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, and he also, he got a lot of shit for that, of course. And he's like, well, how is that any different than, Einstein's theory of relativity? I know there's math behind it and stuff, but he's like, these are all just theories that you have to prove along the way. And he goes, my theory can't be much different than any one of these theories, so don't give me that much fucking shit. He put all kinds of work into it and thought into it.
Yeah. Copernicus, who said that we weren't the center of the universe.
Yeah, no one knew.
Wasn't he like stoned or something? It wasn't until after he died that they were like, oh shit.
Yeah, I don't know if he was stoned, but he was definitely, I think he might have even been thrown in prison or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's everything along the way. But there's literally tens of thousands of sightings a year all over the United States and the world. And in the United States alone, there's tens of thousands of them. And there's more and more compelling videos and pictures. I don't know if you've seen any of them. A lot of them, just like a lot of stuff I've seen, the rights have gotten bought by major, television networks and stuff. So they're hard to find because they want you to watch their shit.
I keep going back to that word, Gigantopithecus.
Gigantopithecus, yeah.
The only reason I know that word is because there's some kind of there's like a song or something. And my brain keeps trying to reach for that while you're talking.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's one of my favorite words. Gigantopithecus. I get stuck on words.
Man, it must I keep thinking All Dogs Go to Heaven or something.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
The 80s cartoon movie where that's a part of a sing-songy something gigantic. I don't know.
I'm curious now. We're gonna have to find it.
Yeah, and I kept running into connections with, or they're seen all over the world, but there's like a hub in Dulce, New Mexico.
I didn't know that.
Or just like major sightings there.
Interesting.
Hotspot. Yeah. Interesting.
Well, I've never heard that one before, so that's
No.
pretty interesting to me.
Because I started watching people's like them filming their own experience trying to find or make contact, and they would hit the trees with a stick
Sure.
because there's always a knocking that happens.
Oh yeah, and that's a lot of the video footage I've seen. It's, they do the knocking, and then you get the knocking like 100 yards away, and then oftentimes if they're not pleased with you, there's a lot of rock throwing. Have you seen that shit?
I have.
Dude, I tried to find this one video, but it must be owned by someone. It's a guy researcher. He would go off in the wilderness, trek in for 5 days to do this stuff. And this fucking video scared the shit out of me when I saw it. He's in this camp, and then the knocking starts. So he starts knocking back, and then he starts doing the howling. They do the howling back, and then all of a sudden the whole entire camp's surrounded by like 6 of them.
Oh my God.
And they're fucking throwing shit at him, growling at him, and like he's just like fucking screaming at him, trying to do whatever he could. Fucking my hair was sticking up the whole time.
Holy shit.
So even if it wasn't fucking Bigfoot, there was something surrounding his, it was terrifying.
That's incredible.
And then you're stuck out there. Even if you scare him off, you're stuck in the middle of the wilderness. You're not going to get in a helicopter and fly away,
Yeah, 5 days back out.
Yeah, fuck that shit. And then, of course, he goes right back out a year later. And my other thing I really find intriguing, which is really hard to prove or disprove, frankly, is have you seen how they, along pathways and stuff, they'll break trees, but it's like 10 feet up. And it's always in the same direction. And they've proven, snow melt or whatever, with no way in hell it could do it at that height,
I saw a few pictures of them bending tree, or the trees would be bent.
Yeah. It's like markers almost. Like this is our territory.
Or
that's a theory.
Back. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the theory I heard was that it's like this is ours, stay the fuck out. Like to other, I don't know what you call them, clans, big feet clans.
See, I feel like the only way that it makes sense is if they're interdimensional beings.
Sure.
And
how they can kind of come in and out.
Yeah. Clearly they have, I feel like that, ability to disappear behind a tree, like this massive animal and this tiny little tree. They just go, like they went into the tree.
Sure.
Some people were talking about how they exist in trees and can come out of the trees or whatever, but it feels like
they're
maybe
part of it.
But they can go into the tree and then go elsewhere or something. How do you wrap your head around something you have no experience with? I feel, and it's another because I brought it up last time with aliens. Like they are aliens. They would be aliens then, looking super primitive. They don't wear clothes or whatever, but like
by the definition of the word,
we're fucking primitive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People fuck dead bodies and stuff. Like there's probably none of that in the alien
I sure
civilization.
Hope not. That'd be real disappointing.
Oh man.
That's
beating each other up over
sports
by teams.
The laws of averages, there's probably a society that's all they do. Disgustingly. Like, no, this is our thing. Just dead bodies.
Infinite potential and possibility exists around us, I think.
Oh, I like thinking about that. I like it. I like thinking about me, like, not being a pussy and skydiving somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
watch you do that, though, and then your fucking chute rips.
Well, somewhere my chute ripped and I died. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thinking about, like, I should have never fucking, what am I?
Totally. Anyway. Actually, I was talking about the sports team thing earlier today, how horribly stupid that is.
It's so dumb. It's
to this
bunch of cheaters.
Well, it's fucking retarded. Excuse my terminology. But fucking, and it's a Welshman, from the UK, and he's like talking about how brutal the fights are between different football teams out there. And I'm like, yeah, it's retarded. It's stupid. Well, Well, he's like trying to explain it to me. I'm like, no, it's stupid. You cannot explain to me how their jersey's color is the one I like that color. So, come on. You can enjoy a
Yeah.
sport without crushing someone's skull. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. When it becomes like the core of your identity,
Yeah, I don't
get
like
right
that.
out of town.
I don't like it when people, and we've all done, and we were talking about that, my brother and I, but like how, we're 12 and we like a song, and then that's our identity for the next 10 years, We all do it.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's kind of pathetic when you think about it. It's like, holy shit, I just wore a leather jacket for 20 years because. But then you kind of look good that way, so then it's it's like, hey, look at me.
Says who?
We're easily persuaded, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
And
with the
easily distracted.
very
You have
much
to
so.
have like fucking focus. You'd have to be able to focus. And it seems like a lot of what we're oppressed with is distraction.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, can you
I
imagine?
mean, well, shit. Yeah, it's kind of the way the brain works too. We got to have constant distraction to feed our brains. I think that's
Mm.
part of higher, so-called higher intelligence. you know, I mean, look at us. We're putting out stuff, distractions. Hopefully, people
Hmm.
like it. Hopefully, it helps people's days go by a little bit quicker.
I feel like because I was thinking about that too, that like talking about Bigfoot now.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of people who have no idea because I think, well, in the 80s it blew up or something. And it was all over like actual news, like people
Well,
being called out for
yeah.
bringing up crazy fucking Bigfoot stories. Like it was part of pulp culture. And then it kind of fell off
Well, I
because
think
like
part of that
Bigfoot,
was that guy, the one who shot that film I was talking about. What was it called? The Gimlin, Patterson-Gimlin film. I
mm,
think one of his buddies on his deathbed was trying to say they hoaxed it, and
mm,
that was in the 80s. And
mm,
so I think that's when everything blew up. And you're right, there was movies, there was
monster truck,
oh yeah,
the birth of Bigfoot.
I
How
love
was
the
that truck
monster
even?
truck. I always wanted to go to one of those events. I never went.
Really? Just go. They're
I
like
know.
$10.
Oh, that's too much. I don't know.
I'm gonna take my kids for sure. They're super into them.
Really?
They like playing with them. I'm like, let's go see.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I always wanted to see how the hell they do that in that little ass stadium.
Hmm.
All that
Actually, I think
octane.
we did go because I'm like, I saw that monster truck eating dinosaur robot
Oh,
truck.
yeah.
Oh, maybe it was a fair or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were too young though. They're at the age now where they really appreciate it,
Yeah, they'll
I think.
remember that forever. I just
So,
remember how my family didn't take me. And
yeah,
I
well,
asked them, jerks,
how old are you now though?
40.
Go do your damn self.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about it. And then I'm like,
Speaking,
I'll go on now. But
what were
then
you gonna
I was
say?
just going to say, I'm just one guy by myself getting trashed on Miller Lights, looking at monster trucks.
Have a
I
nice
got to
hot
bring
dog?
somebody. No hot dogs. Unless they have a hippie hot dog.
Oh yeah, they probably do.
They probably do these days.
So my favorite thing about this whole Bigfoot scenario is the mind speak
Hmm.
because they don't call it telepathy because it's not like you're hearing somebody else's thoughts or what have you.
Sure.
They are speaking directly to you and it'll rattle your brains.
I don't think I've heard about that.
No?
No, go on now.
Oh my goodness.
So they're saying that these guys can do that with humans or just with each other?
That they were um even if you couldn't see them, they would beam me thoughts.
Hmm.
People wouldn't talk about this forever because they were like, I'm schizophrenic, but
Sure. They
there's
say,
something, there's a book out there called the Quantum Bigfoot.
hmm,
And I kind of want to get in there. Kind
hmm.
of want to get in there. I hope he makes a movie about it, though, to be honest. I mean, I
Yeah.
read,
No,
but
I
I
know
feel
what you
like
mean. I
make it
read, but I
accessible.
don't ever make time to make it where I read tons, unless it's something I'm really into.
Mm-hmm.
Like I sat down and read Cosmos, that Carl Sagan one, and then this book here I read pretty quickly, The Ancient Alien Question by Philip
Ooh.
Coppins.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good one. He
Sure.
covers all kinds of good stuff, like when he approaches stuff a little bit differently. He doesn't go in completely diving in with both feet that everything's just absolutely true. He asks a lot of questions. He does a lot of research, and he'll put it in a way where he's not necessarily agreeing with everything, but he puts out the theories and lets you kind of decide yourself, you know? So I like that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. I hate it sometimes when everybody's just like, nope, this is it. I want to be able to
Mm-hmm.
make a little bit of my own thoughts process, you know?
Yeah. To think
But
critically.
I haven't heard that one. What was the name of that book?
Quantum Bigfoot.
Quantum Bigfoot. I'm looking for a new book. I just finished this one.
Well, this guy's talking about like the mechanics of this mind speak. You didn't hear about that? You didn't
No.
know about
No.
what?
I
I
know.
didn't think I'd bring a new, I didn't think I'd enlighten you on this
Hey,
subject.
that's all right. That's good.
Dig into that though, because
What kind of stuff they say they would do?
they were befriending of this of humanity, trying to bring enlightenment uh and help us, which is it's almost the universal
Yeah, I was going to say.
message from all aliens.
Which
They
is
don't all
interesting
look
as
like
well.
bugs. Some are big and hairy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, it just depends on the environment you grow up in, right? And if
Mhm.
there's a little bit less gravity, then you're going to be taller, you know? So then if it's a colder, less gravity climate, then I don't see why you wouldn't have hair and be 10 foot tall, you know? And that would
Hmm.
explain why a lot of the videos, they show them slow moving and kind of lumbering because our gravity would be heavier. So that would make sense too.
But so before the whole Atlantis flood or what have you, like everything kind of shifted, and where there was no water, water was.
Sure.
Um, they theorize that that's why you have like giraffes and elephants and those giant animals like hippos and rhinos and stuff in um, Africa,
I think that was
because
a
there was
gravity
like
shift.
there was higher ground there, so they weren't wiped out.
Hmm. Oh,
You know,
interesting.
dinosaurs were massive. Like we
Mm-hmm.
have the it's I don't know if that's about gravity or
I
what
think that
creates the
was.
conditions for that. Just larger plants,
I think that was off also
because the
just
Nephilim or whatever, the
food.
Nephilim
Yeah,
were
I
big
think you're
ass
right.
giant humans.
The Nephilim. Mm-hmm.
Nephilim.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just you just have so much food that your body grows, or if there was gravity differences, atmospheric differences. Actually, I think that was part of it. The oxygen to the oxygen ratio was different back then, and they think that caused a lot. You know, definitely with the larger plant life and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And like the Siberia, the freeze in Siberia.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that? That
It's letting out a lot of methane. So
yeah,
that, I mean, a comet that completely vaporizes an ice sheet or massive,
yeah.
you know, like if Antarctica were to instantly thaw, there'd be a whole lot of different gas to gas ratios in our atmosphere for sure. That makes sense.
I don't know the guy's name, but have you heard the theory? Because you know they've recreated woolly mammoths, or they've like done DNA and morphed them with elephants.
I've
So
heard
this
some.
guy wants to make herds of woolly mammoths to compact the ice, so it won't melt as quick.
Hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
Yep.
So there's just gonna be tons of them going around smashing the ice. So I figure there's
It
got to be
must have
a
been like, you know what we should do?
exactly.
Stomp down all that ice with heavy stuff.
Have you ever seen? They found an intact woolly mammoth. I think it was. I don't know if it was the late 1700s or late 1800s. But a bunch of world leaders got together and ate it. They like unfroze it and then ate it, and a bunch of them got sick. Of course,
Good.
that's what we
That's
would do.
fucking gross.
Yeah, why? Of course, that's what we would do.
What in
Look
the
at what we
hell?
found. It's 10,000 years old. We better eat this fucking thing.
Do you know, I heard that they found some that had green grass in their mouths still.
So they died suddenly,
Insta-freeze.
huh? Yeah.
Instantly frozen solid.
Wow. Makes you wonder what the hell happened.
Yeah. That's not just under the blackness of like smoke.
Yeah.
Like something
Yeah, I
froze
wonder.
them instantly. And it was a whole herd of them. They were all out there eating, grazing, and they got froze.
I've heard of like, what do they call it? Arctic. What the fuck is it? It's like a tornado. But I didn't know it did that kind of damage. Maybe that's what it was. Where it's like cold air, but I don't think it would deep freeze a motherfucker. I guess it could kill you, and then you would still have it in your mouth and maybe freeze after the fact. But
I mean, the grass would stay green if it took them a day or two to freeze.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. It's still like green grass to frozen.
Some hippie would find it and be like, fucking smoking that shit, man. It's
so
fucking
gross.
Well,
oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 10,000-year-old meat. And I think some of them, I don't know if the blood was, no. I was going to say they were trying to drink the blood. But yeah, of course. They thought it was going to make them stronger. It was like that whole world leader mentality, like, let's drink the blood and we'll be stronger or whatever.
The mammoth babies.
Yeah. Fucking weird.
Super weird. That's like the weirdest shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Abnormal human behavior.
Absolutely.
Good grief.
Maybe we're the abnormal ones. Who knows?
Why, for thinking that shit's weird?
Yeah. I think that's pretty plausible.
Like, shame on you. I hope you get the shits. I hope they got worse than just the shits.
Yeah, and I hope they got really sick. Absolutely, because fuck
Not
you.
fully. Yeah.
Another theory I was reading about by that same guy, that the John Eric Beckyord, he was thinking they could be shapeshifters too. So, we see one or whatever and he turns into a tree or whatever, and which is also a pretty interesting theory. And most of the nighttime accounts say they have yellow or red eyes, like glowing eyes, and that's not a human trait unless you have like cataract surgery. You get a little sheer or sheen.
I can always see those in people.
And then bears, I guess, don't have that either, which is interesting. So a lot of people theorize that it could be a bear or something related to a bear, but their eyes aren't the same. And I don't think bears have cataract surgeries.
Right. But like dogs can't see rainbows because they don't have the same cones in their eyes or whatever, the cones and rods. They only have rods. So it dawned on me that the term they were using, it wasn't like a paranormal, but it was paraphysical. Then they were like, if you look at all the eyewitness accounts thus far, whatever, it's like these creatures appear and disappear at will. And it's like there's a biodiversity to them that makes it, it's like there's this active species that can come into our dimension and exit. They speak through telepathy. It's not telepathy, it's mind speak. I was trying to dig for why it is they call it that specifically.
What if it's more of a primitive way of it? Like telepathy, maybe you're taking more over the brain or something. Maybe this mind speak is just passing something to someone. I don't know.
Right, they're not.
That's not back and forth, maybe.
It is though, because they were asking questions, some of these people, and getting responses, and like they were giving them instructions, telling them why they're here and why they keep coming and why they don't stick around or whatever. They leave evidence behind of their existence.
Sure.
And witnesses.
Yeah, no.
And like all of them they're aligning. Like some are gray, some are black, some are reddish brown or what have you. And um,
They're
I mean, it's almost.
supposed to be horrible smelling. Have you
Oh,
heard that?
really?
Yeah, that's why one of their nicknames is the skunk ape.
Oh, I did hear it. Like you do smell something like a swampy, musty
Yeah,
smell.
probably, if you have all that fucking hair, it's going to happen anyways.
Right, right. You can't
Yeah.
sit down,
Yeah, and
take a
who
shit.
knows
They
if,
probably got dingleberries.
probably, maybe they could mind speak their shit out so it doesn't get in their hair.
Just like phases out of their body as they walk.
I always thought about that was the worst thing on earth. Like, that's what we fucking evolved to, is everything shits everywhere and pisses on things. What the hell? You think we would evolve differently where we'd use all our energy or some shit?
Oh man. I just think so. I sent you guys that picture of the brain and the nervous system and all the like the spinal column.
I saw
It's
that when
like
they was in
this.
Colorado, back before there
Oh,
was
the body parts.
controversy. Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like everything around the brain and the nervous system is like the spacesuit that we've evolved to like manufacture in the womb, growing around this thing that comes out of it's the sperm
Yeah.
that is turned into the brain and then the spinal column and branched out into like all our fingers and toes and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
So that's like the core of it all, and the rest of it is to
a
encase that.
machine, like
Yeah.
this bio machine.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And we piss and shit everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
But primitive humans use that body to filter booze and remember sports scores and eat bullshit. And
Yeah. Make chili dogs.
I really want one. That
I
sounds
still
good.
like a nice vegan chili dog. I make them all the time.
I was vegan and then I became pregnant with my rowdy, and his ass wanted me to eat all the chili dogs.
Yeah.
Foot long
They're
Coney
pretty
dogs,
good.
Sonic.
Even the vegan version's pretty good. It's going to be a hard one to give up. I often wonder what other, well, I mean, we keep talking about the law of averages and different species of, I mean, some of them must not eat. Some of them probably just absorb their energy, but some of them probably still eat too. And I wonder what kind of shit. I know it just depends on where you're from and your surroundings.
Right. Like I wonder if grays have to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem like that'd be part of their day-to-day ritual, but a Sasquatch for sure. Like I feel like that they eat.
He would like a chili dog.
Change
Didn't
this world.
didn't Harry and the Hendersons, he liked something like pizza or something weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Everybody likes pizza.
I was super affected by that movie, but I haven't watched it since then.
I remember being severely sad. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the dent in the top of the car. I loved it.
That's like he started out and there's just this, I don't know. I guess back then there was always some sort of sadness to those movies, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah.
And what's his name? John Lithgow was in that, and he's such a good actor. He was even just doing a stupid Bigfoot movie, and he fucking made me cry.
He nailed it. He always does. What else?
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that,
so
but now
many.
I'm even more in tune with my emotions. I'll probably definitely cry.
Man. So I watched like The Dark Crystal after years and years of not watching. I think they put it on Netflix or something. And
What's
it just fucking ruined it for me. I'm like, damn it.
What's
now
the
I can
Dark
see
Crystal?
The Dark Crystal?
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe I do.
It's like a Jim Henson, the Skeksis and the
Oh, I do remember that.
They had the fork fingers and love those. I wish we used those.
Yeah.
Little stabby forks on each finger for your eating.
Yeah, I remember that.
Hopefully one day that makes a comeback. But like now the huge spiders, like you see the dude's legs, and I was oblivious as a kid and it was magical. And then I watched it as an adult. I'm like, fuck, I should have kept those memories.
Yeah, I often don't look back at a lot of stuff.
Like I don't want to watch.
People think I'm crazy, but yeah, maybe I shouldn't. I'll probably be like, whoa, what the fuck? But yeah, I like my impressions of things a lot of the time. Even a lot of old music I used to listen to and stuff. Definitely movies. Video games, I don't go back. Because I'm like, it's good in my head. What was that other one with, no, I won't be able to. He was the singer of the huge band. And then it was an 80s movie. Was it Jim Henson? I don't know if it was Jim Henson.
Was he a singer in a big band?
No, he was an actual singer in real life.
Jim Henson?
No, the guy in the movie. And then
what?
Fuck, it's on
what do you mean?
God,
David
it's on
Bowie.
the tip. Yeah, David Bowie. What the hell's that movie?
Called Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. That movie fucked me up too. Like everybody's getting kidnapped and can't get back to your family, and then his stupid giant dicks in the fucking movie making me feel bad.
His cod piece.
Everything about that movie I hated when I saw it later in life. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, it's sad, it's lonely, scary. This guy's got a huge cock. No good.
Yeah. And really, like, he really wanted that baby with this big old cod piece.
Yeah. What the hell?
I don't know. We didn't watch, me and my brother. We just watched like a few things over and over again. I was more interested in music movies, like Eddie and the Cruisers.
Never seen it.
The Beatles movies, like their movies.
The actual movies, yeah.
Like
I was very into, believe it or not, action flicks and spy movies and horror stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, a lot of that too. I'd sneak out of my bed and go watch Nightmare on Elm Street like 4.
My parents were the version of iPads. They're like, just fucking watch it and leave me alone. Mm-hmm. So we watched all that shit. And believe it or not, inappropriate movies like Porky's and stuff molded me. Everything I saw was fucking spy movies or tits at a young age. And everybody wonders why I have such a strange sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That stuff you can't.
I don't think anybody wonders.
That's true. Well, you folks get me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Even think about those movies, the old 80s flicks. It was just definitely rape. A lot of rape. Mm-hmm. Breasts. But they tried to make it comedic somehow. And we all laughed. And then now you go back and it's like, oh, he was sticking his dick through a wall. And hoping someone would suck on it or whatever. That's pretty funny.
What the hell? What movie are you talking about?
Porky's.
Oh, Porky's.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was
I didn't watch that until I was in my, 20s.
Oh, yeah. I bet you that's a whole different impression than when you're a child in the 80s.
Yeah.
There's a Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where they're making fun of all those old 80s movies. And they were on, like every other movie was a ski movie, too, if you remember. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It was like a ski movie or biking movie. So for whatever reason, they're on this mountain and we got to win this ski match to win the day or whatever. And then the guy has been there his whole life and he's like runs up behind girls and like takes their shirt off. And everybody's like, hey, man, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I got a great idea. We're all going to get drunk and we're going to stick our dicks through the wall. And everybody's like, what the fuck? It just shows you, I mean, it did not age well, that kind of stuff. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. Imagine being in that writer's room, too. You're just like, I got it, dudes. We're going to take a girl's top off. And that was the big thing.
A lot. So, when I was working at Bowman's, they did Motown movie, like a horror movie, and Motown like playing in the background.
Sure.
But it was always like these old, well, there was several of the old camp horror movies.
Like
Jesus, oh my God. Camp counselors like molesting kids and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man. Fashion was pretty good though. Love 80s movies.
Well, I was definitely
dudes in crop tops.
Yeah. I've seen a little bit of that coming back and I'm like, we don't need that one.
Oh yeah, it's bound to.
We'll just keep the crop tops out.
It's coming. It's already back.
Ugh. I guess I'm just jealous. I mean, if I had a 6-pack, I'd be wearing one. Like, hey guys, what's going on?
Yeah, same.
Check out my rad glasses. I definitely wore, tight white pants and, jean jackets and all that good stuff. The 80s
In the
fun.
80s, but
Oh,
like you
yeah.
were a child.
I still did it. It was pretty badass. I had Rad Dog shirts. You ever seen those? Yeah,
Yep.
pretty badass.
Whoa.
A lot of neon green.
Mm-hmm. Zubas.
What was that?
Those big like hammer pants, only they had like geckos or
The,
your sports team.
when those started coming out, I guess that was the late 80s. I was already
Oh,
into my self-deprecation. Like, I would never look good in those badass pants. I can't wear those. So I
get a
missed out.
roundhouse kick to the face wearing these babies.
Oh,
What
I
was
would have loved
that?
that.
What is that from? It's wearing the Americans Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that movie's
Starla.
old now, isn't it?
I love that movie. It's
Oh,
like the perfect movie.
that poor guy, he's tried to do a lot of stuff. What's the guy's name who starred in that?
Man, I
And
don't
it was
know.
such an absurd character that they all just kind of, that's it.
That's it.
He's tried. I've seen him in trying to be in action movies, comedies, dramas, and it's just like, nah.
Yeah, what was he in? The only thing I've seen him in other than Napoleon was the Will Ferrell Blades of Glory.
Oh yeah, well, that was a good movie for him. See,
Yeah, he nailed it.
no, I watched one. What was that movie? You ever seen the Tremor movies?
Oh yeah.
There's,
Which one?
I was gonna say, there's literally like 12 or 13 of them now,
Holy.
and I watched the most recent one, and I didn't realize. I remember the first one. It was Kevin Bacon, right?
Oh yeah.
And that was fucking early 90s or something.
It was pretty good.
And the dad from was it Family Ties? I guess he's
Oh.
been in every single one of them,
Hmm.
and he's like the badass. He's the one who saves the day every time. And so this most recent one I saw, it was him and fucking the guy from Napoleon Dynamite trying to save the day on this island.
Oh
But
man.
those tremor things had morphed. They had gotten stronger over the years, so
Good grief, because they were
yeah.
massive and scary.
The first one was actually kind of scary, if I
I think I
remember.
seen 1 through 3.
I think that was a good place to drop off.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there's many, many more that we don't need to watch.
Fast and Furious style.
Oof.
Were they on 11?
I think bringing up Fast and Furious,
Was it 9?
if some alien species came here and just happened to be when Fast and Furious 9 came out and they saw just the billboard, they would just nuke us. They'd be like, nope, that's enough. These guys are they're up to no good. We don't need any of this shit.
Because of that fucking movie.
They're like,
Keeps
holy
going.
fuck. Well, they're
Is
going
The
to
Rock
space
in
in
it
there.
again?
And somehow they end up in space, apparently. So I guess they're driving Corvettes in space.
Oh yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that.
So that's pretty badass.
I just saw a clip, and it was like The Rock had improvised a line, like Ludacris had a spit take
Oh, yeah.
because it was funny. It's like, dude was like, "Oh, do I want to do this?" The Rock comes walking up. He's like, "You better hide your baby oil." And The Rock's like, "You better hide that big ass forehead." And like Ludacris spit. I watched it like 8 times. I thought it was hilarious.
That's
Like,
a guy.
that's all I need. Just that moment in the movie. I'm good.
I'm with it. I want to hate The Rock, but he's like one of those guys you just can't hate.
He's so good.
He really is, and it's
I
annoying.
love him. I love
He's
him.
great.
He did that movie for his little buddy. What was he like? He was either his dad's. Oh yeah, because he saved his dad's life. Because his dad was drinking, The Rock's dad. And
Like in this movie or real life?
no, in real life.
Oh.
Because he used to be a wrestler too, and The Rock followed in his footsteps. Could we call him Dwayne?
Dwayne, I think that's
I felt
fine.
just gross saying The Rock.
Yeah.
Followed in his footsteps. Oh, but he did this whole tribute to this
Oh, yeah, wasn't there a movie?
fellow, and he's got like Down syndrome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
That's
his dad
sweet.
gave him like a job at the gym he worked at or something, and he was his trainer or something, or well, I forget what it was, but the details I remember is that he looked at him. He's like, "This is I forget what he said. It was just beautiful, beautiful. And then The Rock paid tribute to him. I think maybe he had died or something.
Oh, really?
Or maybe he's still alive. Wouldn't it be beautiful? More beautiful for him to have done that when he was living. Celebrate his life. Like, I
Yeah.
love you.
I have trouble admitting that I would like a guy like that. He'd be all inspirational and shit. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like The Rock. Like
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
His name is Dwayne.
Mr. Dwayne.
Dwayne
You could
Johnson.
call him DJ.
Is he going to run for president, for Christ's sakes?
I don't know. That might just bring down his... Everybody will start hating him. I mean, look what it did to Arnold. He was at the top of the world before he ran for governor.
Yeah, but he's back.
Yeah, sort of. Have you seen in most of his movies since he's... I've always been an Arnold fan. Because of the sci-fi shit. I've always liked that sci-fi and the action, whatever. Predator was one of my all-time favorite movies when I was a kid. Aliens.
Total Recall hardcore is my top 3.
I went back and watched that one and I couldn't do it.
No.
I like the idea, but
we had parties where we'd get together to watch that.
Yeah. No, I loved it when it came out. Really. I think it's the special effects that get me out.
Super hokey. Hokey.
That one lady, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah. And then Arnold's like wax face underneath.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They made all those wax faces in the same like cringy expression. Like him cringing, his mouth, like Arnold's mouth.
Well, not what was the name of the guy with the thing in his belly? He was the guy in charge of everything. I can't remember his name. But he looked just like this character, and I think they stole it from him from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah?
It was Krang or something like that in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, dang it. I'm going to look this up because Kuatu is his name. Yeah. I didn't have to look it up there. Yeah.
That was hard to be serious with because it was just like...
Open your mind, what do you say? With his little finger.
But when it came out...
Open your mind.
And I still like the story. I think... Well, especially what's her name that was in it?
Sharon Stone.
Oh, yeah, Sharon Stone. That's when she was a real heartthrob. Mm-hmm. And he's all beating her up. I'm like, you leave her alone, Sharon Stone. She was my babe.
She kicked his ass.
I know. It was scary. Mm-hmm. And then she betrayed him.
It was like the first Inception.
Yeah.
Instead of a spinning top, it was a sweaty forehead.
Did you see the newer Total Recall?
No.
Yeah.
That hurts my feelings.
Yeah, I don't think you should watch it.
No.
It was, I think, if I remember, I didn't even try to change any of the story, and it just kind of sucked.
It used to be that our film creators would be so innovative and like imaginative, and now they're just making everything over and over again.
Well, it definitely was creative. I won't say that.
We're devolving as a species, and you can see it in the fucking movies.
Well, it's weird too because of the capabilities we have now are just insane.
We're not devolving. I'm like, I don't want to manifest that type of timeline.
I don't think we're
rising up and seeing the difference in what's available to us, and then we're able to speak like Bigfoot and stuff. Maybe soon we'll be able to talk to dolphins.
I think it's more of we realize that you can get away with more shit and still, maybe because of all the distractions, you can make this movie that doesn't mean shit, you know what I mean? But it's some pretty cool flashing lights and loud noises, so they'll be able to pass it by. Or maybe it's easier just to make films for certain people, so the Scorseses of the world, there's fewer and far between, Maybe that's part of it.
We're just not celebrating those brilliant minds like we should.
And they're still there. There's just a lot of crap in between it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when everybody was up in arms, they started making new Star Wars films, and now it's just religion.
Yeah.
And now there's a TV show, The Mandalorian.
I liked that show though. I won't lie. Did you watch it?
I haven't.
Oh boy.
I probably will.
I didn't want to, but I ended up watching every damn episode and loving it.
Hmm.
Because when that stupid Baby Yoda thing, I saw it, I was like, ah, oh, fuck this shit. I'll never watch this fucking show. And part of it pissed me off is because people didn't even, I don't know, they didn't follow the story. They just saw that dumb Yoda and were like, it's so cute. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then I watched an episode, and then I watched every episode. Bill Burr's in it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's in like 5 episodes or something crazy.
No kidding.
Yeah.
He himself, he's like an Easter egg wherever he's at.
I love him. We're going to see him at Red Rocks in September.
Cool.
It's going to be neat. I don't know if he's ever came to Colorado. I assume he has. Whatever. But yeah, watch The Mandalorian. You'll like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the other thing you told me to watch last week? Shit. It was, it had to do with, because what were we talking about last week? Dulce?
I think so. Or was that 2 weeks ago?
Was it 2 weeks ago? Shit. Dang it.
I don't know. That's okay. I would have sent it to you if it was worth it, probably.
Oh, man. It was even on one of the platforms. It's like ASMR. I was experimenting earlier while I was waiting for you because you were late today.
I just got out of work late. I don't know.
Was it a busy day?
Wasn't too crazy, but
The Bonnie Bray.
at the end of the night, we got a bunch of late night stuff. So then I had to go to the store, get bananas. Gotta have bananas in the morning. Go put money in the bank. The fun stuff.
The mechanics of living.
Yeah.
You been doing any meditation? You still doing that? Or no?
This has been a long week. I haven't done shit.
Yeah.
Nothing. Just been working.
I keep meditating though.
I just have been lazy.
It's crazy because like I go through periods of time where I don't, and then sometimes I just do. It like feels natural, or I just spontaneously I'll like be sitting there like. I wonder if that's dissociation though. My kids are talking to me and I just like zone out.
You're like, peace. I'll be back. Mommy will be back in 10.
Oh, it's like, you're not hearing me, Mommy. I'm sorry.
Well, that's how I am with music. I mean, I'll be obsessed and play 2 hours a day for 6 months and then just not touch it for 4 months or some crazy shit.
A little burst of creativity.
I'll record everything, go through and put all this time and then just not even listen to it and then do nothing for months. So I get it.
Well, they say that's how you write, you know, or like a big part of what you should do is put the writing away every so often and then come back to it and have fresh eyes, fresh ears.
Oh, it's true. When I, missed out on a lot of stuff because a lot of comics do the same thing where they won't listen to other comics. And I won't listen to a lot of other music because I don't want it to fucking bleed in, and which is good on some parts, but it's also bad that you don't see how they come up with their ideas and it can help you evolve. But from when I was young, I would not learn anyone else's stuff. I just refused to do it. And, I fucked myself in some ways, but in a lot of ways it was able to have a lot more of my own thing. So
we did talk about the 100th monkey last time.
I remember you talking about how they can pass back and forth.
Right. Once you
hit
like that threshold for however that communication works. But do you remember Katy Perry and her Dark Horse song that went to litigation over her stealing it from a Christian like pastor's band or whatever?
I do sort of remember that, yeah.
She won because she's like, there's only so much music you can make. There's only so many notes you can play and so many time signatures or sequences that like you're bound to pull out something that matches somebody else's.
We go down any YouTube mashup rabbit hole and you'll see like Like that one. We were talking about that one the other day, that Green Day song, When I Come Around. You know that song?
Mm-hmm.
There's this video I saw where they played like 35 songs with the exact same progression, and they were all top hits. So clearly our mind likes that.
Yeah.
I mean, it went back from Green Day to like 1950. There was just so many
Wow.
songs. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
It makes sense. I mean, clearly we want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd make sense that you would do it. And not everyone's exactly the same, but the same chord progression and very similar rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all done it.
Yeah.
Musicians.
Even shaman in you know, old ceremonies from like, we should be saying First Nation, not Native Americans, right? The First Nation. Is that what it's
Is that
supposed
the
to be?
new one? I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I don't know.
Well, you think about that, like they were inspired by like body rhythms and whatnot,
Sure.
heartbeats, and so that kind of cadence would naturally
Oops.
resonate with
Well, we all
humans, I
absorb
guess.
everything one way or another.
I
And
didn't
even
mean to
even
be
you know,
so
I say that
powerful.
I didn't learn other people's stuff, but I still absorbed. You know, it's impossible to not do it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
but
like you're mainly absorbing like the most accessible though,
totally.
which is like what plays at gas stations and grocery stores.
Yeah, the badass stuff is what you mean.
Yeah, of old.
Yeah.
Oh, you should definitely dig into that mind speak. It's a whole like
Yeah,
it
I wrote down
brings.
that book because I'm looking for a new book. I assume it's on Amazon and stuff.
Mhm. I was reading through this one website for that, and then I didn't realize it was an ad for a damn book.
Mm.
I was like, I want that book by the time, because they're like building up to, the potential, what the implications are if this, you know, creature is interdimensional. Like that changes everything. Like the knocking, like them coming out of the trees
Yeah.
being an energy access point.
And
Because
I wonder if it would have to be specific trees or if they can just kind of do it anyway, or if they choose to use trees, or those are all interesting questions I would want to know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I had this experience. I lived in a house in Thornton. There was this willow in the backyard, and it was probably half dead. The top of it was like an aviary, though. It was just bare limbs. And I just felt like this tree was super sad. And I put like rose quartz up. I hope it grows up and around it. I hope the people who live there don't cut it down.
Hmm.
But it was just spooky occurrences with this tree, and I would sit with it, and it felt pissed at me, or just like it was projecting that onto me because I was there receptive to it. And it definitely felt like this tree communicated with me because I was open to it. I was down there meditating. I had my babies out, and they would hold on to the willow, you know.
Tendrils, what are they called?
Yeah, what are they called?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dang it.
That's good enough.
But come to find out, I was talking to one of the old time neighbors. They're thirsty trees. So I flooded the shit out of this tree. I feel like we made peace with each other. But turned out there was this massive cherry tree, and the person who owned the house before us would give baskets to all the neighbors, or the person before us,
Sure.
because that person ripped it out and put hops in,
Hmm.
which is a super aggressive, highly thirsty vine.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
permanent plant, like you can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
And it just, brought that tree down to half of what it was. And I was like, it's fucking heartbroken ass trees be fed cherries.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like there
probably.
was,
When they would
if
fall or whatever, huh?
hmm,
It would go into the ground, probably, huh?
the cherries.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in a
Make
staple.
that.
It must have been quite the mess.
Yeah. No, I mean for the other tree. Could have gave it
Oh.
nutrients.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Must have been a very loving relationship between those two trees.
Yeah.
It replaced it with hops, which just robbed it of half its life.
Well, I'm glad you made peace with it. That's sad,
Yeah.
even for a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, it was sad for the neighbors too. They're like, we had cherries all the time.
Yeah. Well,
The hops were
you did the
fun,
right
but
thing.
they were aggressive.
I always believe in trying to take care of all that stuff. From the smallest ant all the way up. Just let it do its thing.
So
You know what I mean?
trees, though, they're like sea anemones. If you go, okay, I did mushrooms at Wash Park, and I was sitting there, I'm like, look at these fucking, they were so alive.
The trees?
I'd already had, experiences where I felt like I felt their alive presence, and then like excited that I'd noticed them. I felt that a lot with trees.
Sure.
I just thought I was weird. But then I had another friend long ago tell me about when he was a kid, he was walking through some sequoias. I forget where, maybe in California. And he kept hearing like, start a fire, start a fire, start a fire. Turns out that's how sequoia seeds germinate.
Yeah.
And they're so massive that like they can withstand fire.
So we thought maybe it was...
Oh, he for sure knew he was being goaded by the trees to start a fire.
Interesting.
And he was a punk. He would have gotten arrested. Like he may or may not have started a major fire.
Well, I've always felt peace with the trees for sure, and the woods. Yeah, one time, I'll have to find a picture. I was walking in, I was a teenager in my grandparents' house in Maryland. And I was trying to get away to go smoke pot and whatever. And so I was going through this orchard, which is no longer there, bastards. Somebody turned it into thousands or something. And the whole time I felt like I was getting followed, and I felt like I was getting followed. And I had one of those those disposable cameras. And so finally I turned around and just flashed it. And I forgot all about it. And then a month or two later, I looked at the picture and there's this swirl. Yeah, pretty sweet, huh?
I love that.
I'll find it and I'll show it to you. It's buried, but I'll get to it soon.
Like an Orby type swirl, or was it like mist?
It was mist. Yeah. It was very interesting. Every time I still look at that photo, I can remember that moment.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it was much after I put out or had the smoke in my lungs too. So it couldn't have been that. Well, I think that was a good show. What do you think?
I'm into it. I was going to say, though, like I still have a few of those cameras undeveloped, and I've been so nervous to develop them.
Yeah. Well,
a couple of them were from a dark era.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I don't have a digital footprint of my youth.
No shit. Me too. Well, but you can take solace in most of those pictures sucked. So even if you might got one or two bad pictures out there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much if you developed them, but don't do it in front of your kids.
Right. Probably not at Target either.
No, that's part of the fun. Just let them get a little fun in their day.
For them, yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. Abnormal, Strange, and Weird Podcast. My name's Patrick Dyer. That's Amanda Geezy. My other show is called Sofabab. You could check all of the content out at sofabab.com. And I think you should give Amanda money to Green Heart Tarot 333. Don't you think?
I'd be honored.
Yeah. Next week, maybe we should get into some ghosts or something. I don't know. We'll discuss it. If I can find that photo, that would be kind of cool.
That would be super cool.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Go to aswcast.com and see y'all later now.